Morning viewers, Bucks Gas Garage again. It's been a little bit of a while since our last video due to the weather up here in Albury Wodonga. Sort of been around -5 in some points, wet and windy for about the last 2 months. So anyway, today we've got a video on a Navara Silverline ute. This is a brand new vehicle, probably the first brand new vehicle that I've ever had. It is a company vehicle, it's not owned by me, but we just picked it up yesterday, so we'll do a bit of a review and have a look at it. Okay, so this is the vehicle. It's a 2018 Nissan Navara SL Silverline ute. Now this vehicle is it's based on the base model Navara, but with the Silverline comes with a few extras. So basically what we've got here, you'll see a few up spec features. One are the LED headlights, daytime running lights. Also you have the 16-inch alloy wheels. Normally the SL would come with steel wheels. Also you can see that it comes standard with the running boards or side steps. Now this is a standard feature on the SL model. Also with the Silverline you get the polished sports bar, tinted privacy windows, and I think apart from that with the Silverline, you can see there, that's the badge for the Silverline there. The other features that the Silverline have over the base SL, as we can see here, 5-inch display here. We'll go more into the interior further on. But also the one big plus with the SL model as against the RX is this has the twin turbo engine, 2.3 litre, so we'll have a look at that now. So this is under the bonnet of the Silverline. You can see here this is the upgraded engine, so this is the 2.3 litre twin turbo engine. So it puts out 140 kilowatts and 450 newton meters of torque, as against, I think it's single turbo, 120 kilowatts. Also, the other update feature with this SL as against the earlier models is that it comes with a 7-speed automatic transmission. Optional with 6-speed manual, but with this one we went for the 7-speed auto. Another feature of this one, as you can see here, we have the heavy duty tow pack, Nissan fitted. Now the towing capacity on these Navaras with the 140 kilowatt engine is 3.5 tons with electric brakes, so just about matching any other dual cab in the market, obviously apart from a Ram or something like that. Also what's been updated with this model, you'll see that the rear suspension is coil sprung in these Nissans, which gives a far nicer ride than leaf springs. But they've also reset the coils because apparently there was issues with the earlier model Navaras that once 600 kilos was in the tray, that they tended to bottom out a little. So the springs have been reset for the 2018-19 model to handle a bit more capacity. In the tray you'll notice that there's various tie down points. The SL doesn't come with a tub liner or anything like that. Doesn't come with a tarp either. That's an optional extra, which you would think in this day and age that a tarp would come standard with these dual cab utes, especially because of the price. One good thing you'll see here, we'll just have a look. There's a 12 volt socket if you want to run fridges or any of your 12-volt appliances in the tray. So very handy to have that in the tray. Moving on to the interior. Now this is the rear seat of the Navara. I've got the optional floor mats fitted in this one, rubber floor mats. But you will notice with the SL model, no carpet in these ones, so pretty easy if you're a tradie or using them out in the dirt to, pretty much wash and clean them out. You'll see 3 seats there, different design. They have ISOFIX for child seats, but also the standard seats, instead of pulling forward now, you have these loops that are in the back under the seats to attach for child seats. Also, one thing I did like about the Navara, and you don't get on many dual cabs unless you pay extra, is the rear air conditioning. Earlier model D23 Navaras didn't have this, but we find it great for the kids to have actually air conditioning vents in the back. So another handy little thing with the Navara. So you'll notice drink holders and mat pockets in the rear, large speakers, electric windows, obviously tinted glass. And another little bit of a gimmicky feature in the Navara is the electric rear window, which I'll show you now. So there you have it, the rear opening window, which some people say, oh, it's quite good in summer, you can have the rear window open. You've got a dog in the back, I suppose. But I would find this quite handy for, if you're picking up things from the hardware store, they're a little bit long in the dual cab, to slide the rear window open, obviously put a rag on it, for bits of PVC pipe or little bits of timber and things that are too long for the tray. Quite a handy feature. Some say a little gimmicky, but I'd prefer to have it than not have it. Moving on into the front seats here. As you see, front seats all manually operated. So far quite comfortable, the seats. I certainly haven't found any issues with sitting in the seats. Again, this vehicle hasn't done a lot of kilometres, which you'll see there. I think it's just clicked over 31 kilometres. But as we can see here, you've got in the SL a 5-inch display. And then obviously you have manual air conditioning, which I much prefer myself to climate control, which drives me nuts with fans going on and off and changing the air conditioning and that sort of thing. So 5-inch display, also has reversing camera there. Not a bad little reversing camera, as you can see there. You can see the tow ball in there, so good for lining up trailers and that sort of thing. So quite a handy little feature. Also, it has Bluetooth for your phone systems there, which you can see on the wheel here, cruise control, and also various features and so on. Looking at other features, maybe a little gimmicky, but it has a active rear vision mirror there, which you can see also has a compass in the top corner there, obviously heading west at the moment. So looking at other features in the vehicle, you'll notice here there seems to be a multitude of 12-volt sockets everywhere for power. So you have one also up in the top dash there, there's another up there, and then down in the center console another 12-volt socket in there, as well as the one in the tray. So plenty of power outputs. And then you'll see down here in the tray here you have a USB in and also auxiliary to go along with all your devices for obviously music and so on. Looking at other features, there seems to be a multitude of cup holders and drink holders. So mat pockets, drink holders there. You'll see drink holders in the top of the dashboard there. Again, more cup holders here and there, and also in the center here. So plenty of room for drinks and cups to be stored. So as mentioned previously, transmission in this one is an auto, which, as I say, you have the option of selecting drive or push to the side for up and down gears, which, yeah, you know, if you're towing and that sort of thing, not bad. Other features, this is basically the dashboard layout, multiple pages in that, trip, distance, obviously your fuel, and temperatures and so on. You can cycle through, obviously economy. Now the economy's probably pretty high. This ute is, at the moment, this ute is meant to average about 7 litres per 100, but obviously with 31 kilometres on it so far, it's only been driven from the dealership to here. So various different pages to look at, no warnings, all your settings and everything are in there for your Bluetooth, vehicle maintenance, oil changes, so on. You know, if you have doors open, that'll show up on the display here. Other things rolling through, range 763, speed, average speed, so on. Just your various different cycle through pages. As mentioned, comes standard with cruise control and Bluetooth. So yeah, that's about the interior features of the vehicle. So probably not a bad time to take it for a drive and see how it goes. Obviously just sitting on about 100 kilometres now. Tachometer's sitting on about 1800 revs with a bit of, I imagine, torque lock-up in there. Should be fairly good for economical driving. The ride is quite good compared to other dual cabs that I've been in. Obviously ambient noise inside is quite reasonable, and found with a lot of dual cab utes that the 4 cylinders can be a little clattery and noisy, especially at freeway speeds and things, but the wind noise and things for, you know, this is pretty close to base model ute, is not bad. Pickup, obviously it's a brand new vehicle, so I don't want to go flogging the thing, but yeah, look, the pickup, it seems to be excellent. 140 kilowatts, 450 newton meters. It's getting pretty close to the top of its class. You know, a Ranger 3.2, which has got nearly another whole litre on this, only has another 7 kilowatts more than this, and the torque isn't much more. So some people have commented on the longevity of the 2.3 litre engine. I previously had a D40 Navara with over 300,000 kilometres on it that basically had never had a spanner on it in that 300,000 Ks, and that's the thing a lot of people miss in these road tests, is the longevity of the vehicle. So service intervals on this one, you know, a bit long, I reckon, 20,000 Ks in between services, which I think is a little bit too much. But anyway, we'll see how the vehicle goes. Just coming onto a bit of dirt, corrugated road here at the moment. Obviously first time I've driven one of these on a dirt road. The camera, obviously not the best mount for it, has a bit of a shake and a shutter, but look, very smooth. Again, road noise with rocks, you know, hitting underneath and so on. Very quiet, certainly no issues. The previous model D40 was a bit skittish on dirt roads. This one, you know, it seems fairly well planted. This road's also a bit wet at the moment. Might be a little bit hard to see, but we're coming up to an area now with four-wheel drive. Now this is one of the things with the SL, where the twin turbo engine comes into things. You also get a rear diff lock, which I'll show you now. So this is the track we're looking at here. It's a bit of a fire trail here, quite steep, probably can't see that in the camera, but we'll just engage four-wheel drive, which is obviously selected here. You can hear the beep there, and then obviously down on the bottom right hand corner you can see that four-wheel drive is engaged there. Now I will also put it into low range. Now the vehicle has to be in neutral for this to happen, so in the automatic model. We can see there 4 low has popped up, and let's go for the rear diff lock. We can see there that the ABS is disengaged and traction control is taken off. So let's head up this. This could be a little bit slippery here. Anyway, let's test it out. Obviously these tyres are on-road tyres. As you can see here, low range, extremely low, sitting on about 2,500 RPM in first gear by the sounds of that. So we'll just slip it over into manual mode, slipped into second and third there. No loss of traction at all here. You can obviously see the tracks in front of me. It may not look that steep, but it certainly is. So the low range, we're looking probably in third gear at the moment in low range, probably doing about 10 kilometers an hour. Diff lock's engaged. Perfect, no slip whatsoever. Seems to handle it very nicely. The previous D23 that I had before this used to skid around a bit. You can see here there's various berms and things. I know on the camera it doesn't look steep, but it certainly is a test for a two-wheel drive vehicle. Certainly wouldn't be getting up here. So most impressive so far from what I can see, especially with what's basically pretty much an all-terrain tyre, but probably a little bit more based on a on-road tyre. Now we've just come out of the steep bit, so I'll just see if we can disengage the rear diff lock. You can see here, just had to move forward a little bit to get the rear diff lock to come off, and should be, I see we're still flashing on the four-wheel drive system here, so I'll just put it in neutral, give it a little bit of reverse, and there you can see we're back in two-wheel drive. So yep, four-wheel drive system seems to work nicely. So we're just heading down the trail now, back down this hill, just looking at the engine braking. At the moment we're in two-wheel drive in first gear. Now looking at this, as I said, fairly steep, and it doesn't seem to be as steep, but we can see here the engine braking, it's running up to 2,000. Again, we're in high range, but certainly the car is not running away at a ridiculous speed, which is a big problem with you know, more modern turbo diesel engines, that they seem to run away and that there's no engine braking capability with them. So that didn't exceed 3,000 revs coming down that hill, which again is, as I say, quite steep. So we'll just slip it back into automatic mode, and then we'll take the car up my normal test track that I use on the bitumen, and give it a test out through the corners and the hills. Let's take it up the test track. Obviously we don't want to give it too much of a flogging because it's brand new. Previous Navara would be back to about second or third gear at this stage, but we're nearly pulling 100 kilometres an hour heading up this hill at the moment, so very impressed. Handling around these corners, excellent for a dual cab. Probably the best I've seen. I've driven the Triton and the Ranger. The handling seems to be excellent. Not to poo-hoo the others, but whatever they've done to the rear suspension in this Navara has certainly worked very well with no load in it. So I haven't put a trailer on it or anything yet, or a decent load, but the on-road handling through corners at reasonably high speed seems to be very planted compared to the previous model D40 Navara, which, as I said, it had a tendency to be a bit jittery in the back end with the leaf springs. But no, all looks good here. One thing I just thought I'd try out. Apparently the steering on this Navara is meant to be heavily weighted, and not the best turning circle, but I don't know who was driving the vehicle when they tested it, but this is a fairly tight road. We've swung around there one-handed. The steering, it seems fine to me. I actually prefer a more weighted steering than one finger steering like that. So the steering certainly suits me. People were saying lock to lock, too many lock to lock, but well, to me it seems fine. I've got no issues with it. Okay guys, well there you have it. That's the Navara SL Silverline ute. As I say, I'm pretty impressed with it. For a dual cab in the lower price bracket these days, everyone seems to think they're flavour of the month, the dual cabs, or should I say flavour of the last couple of years. So yeah, look, very impressed with the vehicle. Probably only a couple of things that I'd probably look at on the ute that would be required. Would be possibly a bull bar at some stage, but also a tonneau. This seems to be a bit of a letdown with dual cab utes, that you pay a fair bit of money for them these days, and they can't even come with a tonneau as standard, which I do have the price for the tonneau to be fitted. $660 for the tonneau, as against a couple of other vehicles that I've priced up when I was looking for this vehicle. Seems reasonable. They range from 700 to about 1,000 on some of the other dual cab vehicles that I looked at. So overall, the Silverline, I think if you want to get into a dual cab, I'll let you know that this vehicle was purchased for a figure around the 37.9 with the automatic transmission, tow bar and everything. So look, with the price of dual cabs these days, pretty good value. Servicing costs, I'll show you those shortly. Servicing intervals every 20,000 kilometres, which to me seems a little much. First service check is at 1,000, which is free. And you'll see the service intervals. I'll flash that up next. And yeah, a little bit pricey, but I suppose it's at 20,000 Ks instead of 10 or 15. That's maybe the reason for the higher price for the services. But overall, look, pretty good package as far as I'm concerned. Thanks for watching that episode of Bucks Gas Garage. Hope that report on the Nissan Navara was helpful to some of you if you're looking for a dual cab ute. Also, if anyone else has vehicles in the local area, Albury-Wodonga area, that they may like a review done on their vehicle, please don't hesitate to drop me a comment and let me know. There are other vehicles coming up, but due to the weather at the moment, being a bit inclement for the last couple of months, we haven't been able to get to those. So please enjoy this video and the future ones. Thanks very much.